Hey friends, welcome everyone. Come today, let us sneak into the Self-Reliance India overview. Atmanirbhar India, which a Prime Minister's dream, and during the COVID-19 crisis, a 20 lakh, whopping 20 lakh crore package highlights. So let us see into the 5 tranches, how it has been splitted and how the reforms as well as the relief package has been given by the government of India to provide the relief to the public. I am Raju Angadi Vishwanath here, a SEBI registered research analyst, founder of TraderSet, a trader, trainer, and a transformer with more than a decade of experience in researching and trading in financial markets. So come today, let us have a sneak into the overview of the Self-Reliant India package. Let us start with the Self-Reliant India 1.2 to start with, wherein the stress has been given to the MSMEs, NBFCs, DISCOMs, and employees, TDS, and PF contributions. To start with, a collateral-free loan for MSMEs of 3 lakh crores would be provided, which has been set aside, and for the debt-stressed MSMEs, 20,000 crores has been kept aside, while the 50,000 crores extra corpus has been kept for the MSMEs to boost the micro, small, and medium enterprises. While coming to the NBFC's front, some 75,000 crores has been kept aside, 30,000 crores to boost the liquidity of the NBFCs with 100% government guarantee, while a 20% government guarantee, 45,000 crores has been kept for the liquidity booster for the NBFCs, which sums up to 75,000 crores. For the MSMEs, it sums up to 3,70,000 crores. And for the discounts on a relief package, government has given due to the COVID-19 crisis the 90,000 crores. For the TDS perspective, the TDS contribution by the employee has been reduced by some 7.5%, which would help a cash in hand for the employees, which is around 50,000 crores. Well, the 2,800 crores government would contribute to the EPFO for each of the employees who are employed in the pension scheme. Also, reduction in the EPFO rates have been done, which will boost 6,750 crores. So that would sum up to 5,94,550 crores. How it would impact the fiscal deficit in the FY21? Let us sneak into it in this sheet. The total collateral free MSME loans 3 lakh crores. There is no fiscal outlay as it would be a loans. And for the debt stressed MSMEs, it's some 20%, which is divided into 5 parts. The 4,000 crores fiscal outlay or the fiscal deficit which should be impacted out of 20,000 crores, and the MSME corpus also is divided into 5 tranches where the 50,000 crores has been set aside. 10,000 crores would be the fiscal outlay for the FY21. Liquidity for the NBFCs for with 100% government guarantee is a risk on the government, so 30,000 crores has been set aside as of which would impact the fiscal deficit. And on the liquidity front to the NBFCs, 9,000 crores out of 45,000 crores would be an impact on the FY21 as it's a 20% guaranteed scheme. And for the discoms, 90,000 crores relief is the fiscal outlay is zero, as well as the TDS is on the employee pocket. Whatever they would be earning, they will be getting that relaxation for the more money to use it during the stress times. While the EPFO contribution of 2,800 crores is a outlay for the FY21 year, total sums up to 55,800 crores out of 5,94,550 crores, which is around 8 to 9% of the total stimulus, which would be a physical deficit burden for the government in the FY21. Some of the key announcements were done in the Self-Reliant India 1.0. The key announcements were definitions of the NBFCs has been revised, like before it was 10 lakhs to 25 lakhs, 10 lakh crores of 10 lakhs of investments and 25 lakhs of turnover. Now it has been revised to 1 crore of investments and less than 5 crores of turnover is considered as MSMEs. So the definition of MSMEs has been broadened in one word, what I can say. Extension for the registration of the real estate properties is done, under which comes under the RERA, Real Estate Regulatory Authority, by 6 months for all projects which would benefit the registration fees, and obviously some relief for the realty sector. Also, the global tenders would be disallowed for the projects, government projects basically, which is under 200 crores, to boost the local contractors, local small companies, which is again a Make in India initiative to boost the, it is, although it's a protectionism measure, but it will boost the small vendors and the traders as well as the local companies, small companies. The extension of dates for IT filing and tax audits has been done due to the lockdown of some 60-65 days because of this COVID-19. The disruption has happened, so the IT returns date for the filing has been extended to FY20 to November 30, and the tax audits should be done before October 31st of 2020. So these were the key announcements. Now let us sneak into the Self-Reliant India 2.0. This is basically, the second package is clearly for the poor people, those who have suffered a huge damage economically, particularly for the farmers, street vendors, as well as migrants. A fresh 25 lakh Kisan credit cards would be issued, and 2 lakh crore has been set aside for the farmers. And the NABARD, they are going to set aside some 30,000 crores. Also, housing CLSS MIG 70,000 crores would be set aside, and low rented accommodation in the affordable housing would be provided for the poor people, and a 5,000 crores credit or the loan would be sanctioned for a 50 lakh street vendors. They can get the loans to restart the business and run it. Even the food subsidies to the migrants has been calculated and set aside some 3,500 crores. The food PPE kits would be provided for the migrants, those who migrate from states to other states to their homes. Those who have got stuck, the food subsidies would be given, while the interest subvention for the Mudra loan, currently the Mudra loan holders is provided. The interest rates reduction have been done, and that would cost government of 1,500 crores. So total of 3,10,000 crores have been set aside in the fiscal stimulus in the Self-Reliant India 2.0 out of 20 lakh crores for the migrants, farmers, and the street vendors. And the fiscal outlay for the FY21 here comes into the food subsidies for the migrants and interest subvention in Mundra. The rest of the other stimuluses are in the form of either rent or affordable housing or else Kisan credit card. So the 5,000 crores is the only outlay out of 3,10,000 crore for the FY21. The key announcements were in the Self-Reliant India 2.0 was one nation, one ration card. So food for all, which government promised, and also under the PM Awas Yojana to provide affordable rental accommodation for the poor or unprivileged, while 25 lakh new Kisan credit cards to be sanctioned as well. In the Self-Reliance India 3.0, relief for the primary sector have been provided. 1 lakh crore for the agri infra fund. Micro food enterprises were provided with 10,000 crores. Also fisheries would get a benefits of 20,000 crores and 15,000 crores for animal husbandry who have been suffering due to the amid COVID crisis which whole world is facing. Also herbal cultivation, some 4,000 crores has been set aside and 500 crores each for Operation Green and beekeeping. So the totaling of 1,50,000 crores has been set aside for the agri infra and small food enterprises and fisheries and animal husbandry and herbal cultivation in the primary sector. So this was a basic relief which has been provided, and the key reforms for the agri sector were government has promised aiming to double the farming income by 2022. They have enabled now the contract farming where which will ensure farmer has a buyer for a crop, and also a free market has been proposed, and the APMC Regulation Act of 1964 has been revised to free regulation market which will benefit the MNCs and the multinationals, and also it can benefit farmers in short term. It's one nation one market in the overall terms, like more avenues to sell the farmer produce with the amendment of APMC Act. The unshakable commodities like onions, potatoes and oil seeds from the chain of regulation. But this is one of the major reforms which was pending from many years which government has taken. This has got its own pros and cons which we'll discuss in the conclusion part later on. While for the self-reliance India 4.0, relief for the infrastructure sector has been provided with the 8,100 crores fiscal stimulus. The coal sector reforms where commercial mining is allowed in the coal sector previously which was not there, so captive mining has been removed. Only captive mining in the sense, so only mining should be done for the consumption purpose of the nation or the business or the company. So now commercial mining is clearly allowed. Government to spend 50,000 crores for the coal evacuation infra. So infrastructure would be provided. A joint auction of coal blocks and the other blocks would be done, while 50 coal blocks would be allowed for auction, and a new allotment for gasification would be done. So basically partial blocks to be auctioned. Early one captive consumers could bid. Now any party can bid for a coal block and sell in an open market. So coal mining has been clearly commercialized in one word. Coming to the mineral sector, joint auction of minerals would be done. Joint auction of bauxite and coal blocks to be done. A sale of unused minerals is allowed. Like for example, a company bids for a mine and consumes it for the as a raw material for its steel or any other production, then the unused minerals can be sold in an open market, which was not allowed before. Now that's about the mining sector and the coal sector. Now let us sneak into the aviation sector. Government puts 6 more airports under auction, up to 2,000 crore benefit for the sector from the aircraft MRO hub in India. Also government has taken an initiative to airline repairs and small parts manufacturing to get a make in India initiative boost. The smaller companies and the airline repairs and spare part manufacturing companies to benefit, wherein job creation also would be done. Coming to the power sector, discoms in union territories will be privatized. So that is one more boost for the discoms. While coming to the defense sector in the self-reliant India 4.0, restrictions on import of certain weapons would be applied as a Make in India initiative. Few weapons India is to manufacture within India, wherein we are one of the top importers of the defense weapons. So to reduce the fiscal burden as well as initiate a Make in India initiative, restriction on import of certain weapons has been done, while the separate budget for the domestic capital procurement of weapons would be set aside. FDI limit in defense manufacturing would be hiked to 74% from 49%. So foreign companies can participate and manufacture in India, like Bharat Forge, L&T, and many other companies. BEL, which is government, again could be privatized. So FDI limit in defense manufacturing has been hiked. Government corporatized ordnance factory board to be listed on the stock exchange. While the time-bound defense procurement process and faster decision making has become a priority of the government, because we lag in the technology wise, also in the procurement of the weapons compared to the other countries. Based on the size and the population and the budget, what we spend is far lesser compared to the GDP. Even a smaller country like Singapore has got 5% of the GDP in the defense to protect the national security. So we have to prop up that one. So based on that, keeping those things in mind, a good measures have been taken in the defense sector. While the private investment in the social sector, government has taken an initiative of 8,100 crore outlay of viability gap funding in social infra by increasing quantum from 29 to 30%. Space and atomic energy, which is another important part. Private space tech companies now can use the infra facilities of the ISRO, which would be beneficial, as building a ISRO like facilities is quite difficult and capital intensive. Now the small and the private space tech companies can use the facilities of infra and conduct the research and other progress in the space activities. While the atomic energy part, government to establish research reactor in the PPE model for production of medical isotopes. The final tranche of the package in the Self-Reliant India 5.0 key reforms, fiscal stimulus of 40,000 crores in the Manrega scheme, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee. Government increases the budget of additional 40,000 crores to, which is totaling to 1.015 lakh crores, to boost the rural employment. On the health front, all districts will have infectious diseases hospitals, while at the block level public health labs will be set up. Even a major boost in the education sector and the major change of the landscape, education sector will change. A disruption will happen. One nation, one digital education, and one class, one channel. On a government front, government has taken education to digitize, and online education would be provided in the national television channel. Books would be uploaded in the radio community, and broadcast also would be included. So 200 more books have been added, as narrated by the finance minister. And the public channel television, Doordarshan, would be broadcasting the education for the key classes and the exam. And the educational front, the way education would be conducted will change. So it's a clear digital India boost. Now government will launch PM E-Vidya program and a Diksha for digital education. So this is a major change in the landscape of the education sector. While the reforms, this is the major reforms which has been done. The IBC process, insolvency process, a minimum threshold to initiate the proceeding for the insolvency process, IBC process, is to increase to 1 crore, and no fresh insolvency processes would be done for the next 1 year. It's a clear negativity for the banks, as the NPAs are soaring and the insolvency process will not be initiated for the next 1 year. So the recovery of NPAs would be delayed by 1 more year. That is a negative for the banking sector. And also, to boost the businesses, decriminalizing companies act has been brought into picture. While the violations under most of the companies act to be decriminalized, it's not a criminal offense if a company goes bankrupt. Like 7 compoundable offenses under companies act also would be dropped. That is what government has proposed. So this is a clear setback for the banking stocks. And on the positive front, as startups would initiate and start the new businesses to take more risks. So keeping that in mind, government has taken this step. We have to go and see ahead how the things would pan out going ahead. While in the Self-Reliance India 5.2, the new public sector policy has been proposed by the government. All the sectors are open for the private sector, while the public sector enterprise will play an important role in defined sectors. Maybe it can be banking or defense or national security, what we can say. In strategic areas, one PSC, public sector enterprise, will remain, rest will be privatized, in one word. And in other areas, PSS would be clearly privatized. So government wants more private sector participation, and government doesn't want itself in the business. So additional resources also is provided to the states center to increase the limit for states borrowing limit based on their GDP from 3% to the 5%, which will give additional resources for the states of 4.28 lakh crores. Additional 2% is linked with initiating the reforms in 4 areas: one nation, one ration card to provide food for all, ease of doing business to boost the business, the economy, as well as the national, international companies to be attracted for the doing business. With a power distribution, a clear power and infra distribution needs to be managed, and urban local body revenues needs to be addressed. With the 2% additional borrowing limit what government has initiated. So over and all, I would like to provide a conclusion on the total 20 lakh crore package. The reforms, although are on paper really good, we need to see how it would be executed, and reforms should have been taken beforehand. While going was good during last year 2019, or this year at least 2020 budget, there is no IBC process for next 1 year, which means it's clearly a negative for the banks to recover the NPAs. Well, the government is now has now run out of ammunition to provide the further package. Well, the coal mining privatization could have been done much earlier, where we could have been in a much better shape. The APMC Amendment Act was positive for the short term for the farmers. It would, but it would affect the livelihood of many people going ahead, the traders, intermediaries, and the laborers who are dependent, and also assess and the GST collection for the government, which they used to get from the APMCs, would nullify now, as it's a one nation, one market. Even the MSP prices which government used to provide would be under threat. So it could have been addressed in a much better way. The lack of trust and confidence is still there in the investor as well as the business community, which should have been addressed and which has been left behind. Overall, a negative outlook on the financial markets front is my personal view after this package. Even I would like to take an example of a reform, how the pros and cons would impact the APMC Amendment Act, and its impact is the example what I would take. The 1964 APMC Amendment Act, Agricultural Produce Marketing Committee, has now been amended. It will benefit the MNCs and the big national companies. The contract farming is allowed for the farmer to sell directly to the companies. But these MNCs and organized sector companies will gain at the cost of a common man. The lakhs of traders, laborers, intermediaries, etc. will lose their livelihood. Karnataka alone has got 162 APMCs, 50k intermediaries, lakhs of traders, laborers, with 78 lakh farmers producing 170 lakh tons of food grains, 68 lakh tons of vegetables, 55 lakh tons of fruits every year annually. So basically, lot of people and their families' livelihood is under threat due because of this reform. It could have been addressed in a much better way, is what I feel. The free trade market could bring predatory pricing power, and the contract farming is a prefixed price by a vendor or a organized sector, any company. So the handful of people is going to determine and control the pricing of the market or the produce. In fact, the livelihood of many would be in danger, as discussed. Even the MSPs, minimum selling price of farmers, will not be fixed by government from now on, once as it is a free market. Even though there are a lot of laws, it could have been amended in other way, and everybody's concern could have been taken care of. But what is done has been done. We have to see how the how disruptive it would be. I'd like to take one more example of Ola. Like once the Ola or any cab or any online model which was started, Ola started initially with a very big incentives. Once the supply increased, everybody took a loan and took a car or a cab. The drivers initiated, but the revenues of the drivers reduced. That impacted the drivers. So that's how it can impact. It's just an example where farmers could have been impacted, or farmers could be impacted going ahead. So it's not a company's fault, organization's fault. It's a flaw in a system where too much supply started and it impacted. So before getting into the reforms part, the execution of it and the stakeholders who will be impacted, one needs to have a check. We can't stop the change, I agree with that, but it should be addressed in a proper and way, and it should be executed in a systematic way, so that the minimum effect should be there for the any stakeholder. While coming to the technical view, technically speaking about the Nifty is clearly unable to cross the 50-day moving average, which we tried to close once, but still we clawed back clearly. And the overall trend from 12,000 to 7,500, what we fell, now we are in a clearly corrective advance, a choppy advance. It took more it is taken more number of days in a consolidation mode to retrace just a 50% of the fall from 12,250 to 7,500 to test 9,900 odd levels. Basically 8,800 is actually Lakshman Rekha or a threshold. Now 8,900 and 8,800, if decisively broken, we are heading further lower in the indices, and even the 7,500 levels which has been made as a lows could be in danger unless until a cross above 9,500, 9,600 is decisively taken out. The short term view, what I'm discussing, we can head towards 10,400, but it's more unlikely scenario. It's a choppy advance what we have seen. And also economic front, there is no more ammunition from the government after a big package, so that totaling out combined together, technically also we are clearly in a negative territory. Trend exhaustion needs to be washed out to act accordingly. So I would like to provide a disclaimer based on the analysis. It's totally my personal views. I am Raju Angadi Vishwanath, a technical analyst and a SEBI registered research analyst, which INH number, registration number of INH 200007584. I am a short-term trader as well, who trades index futures and options and may hold positions sometimes. So basically, it's analysis is based on the data points and my personal opinions. Even also the chartistic analysis has been done based on the application of the technical analysis. So data and the points what I collected is basically from the sources of print media and the digital media, which is openly available, and I have concluded to make the data points to narrate the effective information to the best of my possibilities. So please do consult your own financial advisor before taking any action on your investments or trading in the markets. We don't guarantee, I or traders doesn't guarantee or take any liability of any errors in the data or else positions or the financial loss which is incurred. So that's a basic disclaimer. Thank you everyone. That's a brief on the package and the Self-Reliant India overview. Feel free to visit us on traders@.com. Also, you can mail us on traders@gmail.com. If you like the video, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel for the further updates and the insights which we are going to provide going ahead. Also, you can join our Twitter handle TRADERZHUT Traders Hut. So stay home, stay safe from COVID-19. Let us discuss in the next videos the more insightful ideas and the inputs. Join our the Traders Hut community, learn, earn and prosper.